Hi and welcome to another episode of the Getting Things Done podcast. My name is Morten Røvik as always, and I'm here with my good friend and colleague Lars Rothschild Henriksen. Привет, Lars.
Привет and ho ho ho, Morten. Good to see you as always. And good to be with our listeners and viewers out there. We always start off with a quick reminder of the purpose of the podcast, which is to help you learn GTD or become even better GTDers. We hope that today's episode supports you in that. If you're new to GTD, we always recommend you go back and listen to the first episodes of the podcast, which were audio only. So you'll find them in your podcast player, because that is where you'll get an introduction to the basics of GTD, the 5 steps. Today's episode number is number 131 of the podcast, and today's episode is an interview episode with Stefan from Microsoft, and we've titled it Copilot, Agents and Everything GTD for people in the Microsoft environment. Maybe we'll shorten that title a bit, but that's sort of the gist of it, I think.
Yeah, and this is a very interesting interview, and Stefan showcases how he uses Getting Things Done in the practical daily work that he has. And he is a proficient GTDer. He's a mature one, so he knows where to use AI in the right places, I think. You will also hear me being ranting about giving up the decision making to AI and what I think about that. But this is a good episode for you to get an overview of what AI can do for you, specifically if you are in the Microsoft sphere. That might be the best place to start with this if you are in the Microsoft world. And as you will understand, that this is a very typical not an audio version. So if you're on audio, you can go into the show notes and find the slides that Stefan is referring to, or you can go to either Lars or my YouTube channel and watch there, because then the slides will be on your screen. Okay, so without further ado, let's roll the interview.
And now, our special guest.
Hi, Stefan, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Nice to be here again.
Yeah, you'll be a familiar voice to some of the people, both previous participants to the GTD summer camps in Denmark, gtdsummercamp.com, but also to longtime listeners, because you've joined us, on the podcast back in episode 113. So for those of you who haven't met you yet, could you share a bit more about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Stefan Pilo. Been working at Microsoft for a very long time, but especially I'm really fond of productivity, and especially GTD as our framework. So been a productivity nerd for a very long time. Live in Sweden, south of Sweden, in Uppsala.
Great. And, the last, we invited you back because the last episode we recorded was really well received. There was a lot of engagement and people were really curious about it. So especially with the speed at which things are moving right now in the technology space, we definitely needed to go back and revisit this, because we spoke back then about some of the new things that were coming. And I'm sure there have been new things that have happened since, both in, I think Planner was one of the key things that we spoke about, but also touched on AI, and we'll certainly do more of that today. So again, like we did last time, we are very much focused on the Microsoft suite, and again, especially for I'm thinking about the Danish listeners in this case. Microsoft is just the tool that is the platform that is used in Denmark. We in Visa Learning, we use Google, and some places I've come across over the years that use different platforms with either Google or Lotus Notes back in the day even. But so many people use Microsoft, so it's great that we can be inspired, hopefully, in our GTD practice, and how we can use the tools that are available to so many people out there. So today's plan is really just a chat. We can talk about it, but I know you've also made some preparations and some things to share. and it's all with the GTDers perspective. And this might be an episode actually where we will want to watch along as well, because Stefan will be showing some things as well. So you can certainly listen along, and we'll do our best to explain what's happening. But if you want to see what's going on as well at the same time, go to Morten's YouTube channel, go to my YouTube channel, and find the episode. You'll find links to those in the show notes, so they're readily available for you. And I can also, add that I'm personally interested in this, both as a trainer, but also to use in my own GTD practice. I'm playing around with a lot with AI these days, as I mentioned in the previous episode. So really looking forward to this one. So, Stefan, enough talk. Where do we start?
I think I'll start my PowerPoint if some background. So
already using the Microsoft Suite. There we go.
Yes. So I thought very long how to frame this kind of dialogue that we're having today, and of course a lot of things have happened since we met last, and AI has become a vital part of everything that we do nowadays, and of course also with Microsoft. So I will try to inspire a bit regarding how I work, or how I handle my work day with my Microsoft tools and Copilot, but still within a GTD framework. So that's my idea. So let's see. So I framed a bit regarding what's happening in my workday and what tools do I use, and how do I use AI, and especially Copilot in that sense. So we're going to go through some parts of it just to see everything from starting my day to how I prep meetings, how do task handling and email management a bit, and then also of course how to find things in a good way, and then of course to end day and do a wrap up. But first I want to talk a bit about something that is not perhaps talked a lot about, and that of course is what actually is important for an AI in that sense. And for Microsoft, we always tells that we run on trust. So of course, if we can't, in a sense, be secure and have a reliable product, and of course, then we can't be what we are today. So we have built a framework of principles regarding how we do things regarding AI. So it's built up with many different parts, and of course, it's fairness, reliability, privacy, security, inclusiveness, and transparency, and of course, accountability. So when you're using other products, and especially Copilot, then of course it's a lot of safeguards that you don't see, that is underlying product and the questions that you answer. So if you try to ask something that is not fairness or not in secure, then of course it will tell you that no, we can't help you in this way, and because of the principles that we have. And I think that is quite important for every product that I, as a private person, want to use, that is actually something helping me or keeping me safe in that sense also.
Yeah, and I'm sure that will speak to many GTDers as well. And we actually touched on this. You couldn't know that, but we touched on this in the previous episode as well, that, as we start to incorporate AI more as GTDers, obviously the AI will need access to the data that we have, knowing your calendar or knowing your next actions. So having these principles, as a solid foundation is really important.
Yeah, I totally agree. And of course, if you look at what's happening in the market today, there's exploding with new models, new kind of products, and new kind of angles of perspective on how to use AI. And of course, they can't improve if they don't have data, and data is gold in that sense. But I want to specify, because I've seen a lot of matrices for new models, and I think how they sort of advise the secure AI from a data perspective, and it's not that good always. So from a Microsoft perspective, what's really important is that we don't save anything or use anything regarding either prompts, the completion output of prompts, what we call embeddings, or any of the data that you're using to like documents or anything. So it all stays within your company or your private sphere. And so I just want to really relay this, because it's very, very important. And if you're using other products, be sure that you look into how they're using your data, because that will it will end up somewhere, and sometimes it could be quite critical, especially if you're using, let's say, sensitive information from your company or from a private person, and you don't want to end up in a bad place.
Yeah,
It's something to
good
think
point.
about. So, from a Microsoft perspective, we have our Microsoft 360 suite, and of course, what we have since like this 2 years ago, we started out with what we call Copilot. And Copilot is an AI assistant, so it's not doing everything for you, but it's still there as an assistant that will support you during the workday with everything from creating, drafting, enhancing, and it could be in any application or any tooling that you're using. And of course, that has evolved quite a lot since the start. So we always talk about, like I said, the human interface. So Copilot will be the interface for AI within Microsoft. And of course, you can do a lot of things in Copilot itself, but also now we have a lot of what we call agents. So agents can be either access to other applications, or it could be pre-built things that you want to do from a day-to-day basis, or could be scheduled prompts. It could be to fetching things or finding things in a regular manner. So, but everything will tie into what we call Copilot. And I think if you look forward, I think this will be even more going forward. Also, like say, as of course we're working with customers today, and customers are also having a lot of different kind of application systems today, and it's quite a mess to get access. And so we're looking more and more that agents will speak with each other, and then you have one interface like Teams or Copilot that will help you to do everything that is needed for your role today. So of course, depending on where you work and what you are using, kind of tools, and of course in that sense also what kind of license model that you have bought within the company, you have different kind of versions, and it's a jungle, I know. But I try to keep it quite simple. But if you look at something called the first version that we have is and our free is the Copilot Chat. So Copilot Chat is available for everyone that have some sort of Microsoft 365 license. It could be either from the company, or it could be from a school or university, or then you have the possibility to have this kind of first step. And it actually do almost everything that you have in the full version. So it's still, you can use chat and ask a lot of questions to the things that you have within your sphere, but you have to upload documents to summarize it or rewrite it or analyze it. It will also from now be integrated as a sidebar into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and OneNote. It will be more going forward. And also you can use both the new model of the GPT-5, but also the older ones, the other ones that are called 4.0, and more are coming also. And then there was a lot of things, of course, regarding image generation. You can create agents for yourself. That you have also the possibility to help Copilot to be know more about you with something called memory. There are other things that you can do also to make it a bit more custom in that sense and personal for you. But it gives you a good start in trying out the Copilot as a private person. And of course, if you are in a company or environment where you actually have bought what you call M3 Stefan Copilot, is the paid version, then of course you will have something called work grounded. So that what it actually means is that it will have understanding on everything that you are tied into regarding images, meetings, document, team sets, everything. So it will find information about you or for you in the whole Microsoft ecosystem. And of course, then it will give you more full-fledged kind of view of things that you're doing and who's reaching out to you and who said what. And so.
Yeah, much more valuable to really get the feedback that you're probably looking for.
Yeah, of course. Still very good in the chat, if the free version, but of course it gives you a bit more meat to the bone, so to speak. So, and especially the things they call researcher and analyst. So, researcher is a bit more advanced, that will go more thorough into the topic or the question that you have asked to find more information. So it gives you more full-fledged kind of answer, and I'm using it a bit also in that sense. And of course, agents. So I think to start, so when I start my day in the upper left corner, so I get an email early in the morning telling me that Stefan, you know that keeping routines is good for your system. And what I've done is created a link to a forms document. Forms is where you can do surveys, but I'm using it more to keep consistent in actually doing and checking the things I need to be on top of everything for the day. So what it means is that I get when I click the link, I got to this survey, and it asks me a lot of questions. And those questions, of course, need to do things. So, for example, have I reviewed today's meeting and creating one meeting notes? So I'm prepared for the meetings that I have in a good way. What is my question? What is the thing I want to get out of the meeting? In a sense. So, of course, checking emails, checking my waiting for list, standard things in GTD perspective. Looking through the calendar if I need some deep work or schedule deep work actions. I really focus to get things done from a project perspective. So I want to have at least one actions per my life, my private part, but also from Microsoft, my work perspective into my to-do day. And of course, going through the folder so I don't miss anything. Training is important, so of course I want to have that plan for today, either a walk or training. And then as I want to measure things, so I was try to measure how long it takes to do the survey. If it takes too long, then of course I want to revise it a bit, perhaps, and make it smaller or enhance it to improve it in some way. And then of course to celebrate that I've done it again. So.
Yeah, no, that's great. I seem to remember this as well from that you had a similar version or perhaps the same version way back. This is not a new thing that you've added, right?
No, I run it for a couple of years, so it's keep changing all the time. But yeah, it's the same.
Yeah. No, but it's again, we've touched on that many times now over the years on having that kind of daily checklist, and it's always good to see other people's checklists and be inspired. So really like that one. Cool.
Good. And if you looking into do it yourself, so it's quite easy, I would say. So you go into what called Power Automate, so you can find it under your Microsoft 365 kind of starting page. Then we have the 9 dots up in the left corner. Then you can choose other applications and then Power Automate. And then you have in the first page, it tells you, okay, do you want to create an automation? Please write what you want to do. So I write out my prompt for creating this. So it's send out an email every day at 7 in the morning with the subject, start a routine, and the body, let's start this day, and then a link. The link I have to add afterwards, but then you generate, and then it creates a suggestion regarding a flow with a trigger and action. Recurrence is that we will do it every day, a certain time, and then of course it sends an email. So I keep that one. So then I have to go in to put in the email itself. You can see the starting date, and then I have to add the email and of course the link to the forms document or the forms web page. So it's quite easy to build it yourself if you want to. So now I've started my day. So of course, one of the parts in my daily routine is to actually prepare my meeting routines, and my meeting notes. Sorry. So what I've done is I prepared a template. So just with some bullets that are important to usually to think of regarding the meeting. So I usually look at the purpose and outcome for the meeting. What do I want to get out of this? What is the aim for this meeting? And then, of course, some questions perhaps to ask, some notes that I have from prior meeting, and in the specific meeting, I also, of course, look into what participants are meeting in the meeting itself, if there are any actions for me or for others. Of course, if there are any decisions taken or next meeting that I always try to book in that meeting also. And of course, it could be that I do some screen dumps to just have some context for the meeting itself. So it's quite easy to build yourself. So if you want to have it, then you just go into insert in the OneNote part, and then side page template. You have the OneNote that you created, and then you have just do it save page as template, and then you choose the specific template in that section. So every time that you will press the add page button, then you have the same kind of template for there. So I have added it to all my sections where I have my meeting notes in. So it's quite easy to start building yourself also.
And it's really handy to have. I have that as well with a shortcut that sets this up, and just a basic template with the stuff that I want to know. I really like the template that you showed there with some different questions for yourself to consider. The next step for me would then be so the outcomes of the meeting, how would I get that back into my next actions list or wherever they would fit well. But I guess that may be a next step in all of this setup.
You can actually do the actions to be an action that will show up into to do also.
Cool.
I have done that before, but as I have a lot of notes, it tends to be a bit slower going forward, depending on how many hundred or thousand notes you have. So I actually do it manually, because in my end day routine, I will look through all today's meetings, and then I of course look into what are the actions, and then I move the actions into to do in that stage instead. So
okay,
so
now
I don't
that makes
miss.
sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good. One thing that as I'm meeting a lot of new people, both internally but also externally. So what I do is use the called researcher, and researcher is a chat, but it's a bit more complex in that sense that it is really digging deep into all the different kind of data that are available, both internally but within my company, but also externally via the web. So it helps me to figure out what the person that I'm going to meet has kind of role, kind of ambition, or also what the company he or she is working at, what is important for that company, anything that is important for me to have a good high quality meeting, but also to figure out some questions prior to the meeting also. So if you have the possibility, really try it out, because it will help you. It takes a bit, take anything from 2 to 10 minutes to actually create the outcome. And as always, there are possibility to use some really predefined kind of prompts that you are seeing also in that sense. But so I think that's a really good help in that sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Actually, I tried with ChatGPT recently for a meeting, and it was, to some extent helpful. But I'm tempted now to try the researcher out, see if that might actually be more helpful. I'm guessing it would be.
Yeah, and also of course regarding prompts, you have to try, modify, and try again, and see that you will have something you can also ask chat to actually give you a prompt that will help you to prepare a meeting, and then use it back into researcher to help you. So, but try it out. That's a tip. Okay, so now we go into meetings. We use, of course, Teams in that sense, and we have had summaries in Teams for a long time, but now we have both Copilot and something called Facilitator. And I think that's one of the really good things, except for me, because it's let's say a private secretary that or a timekeeper that would help you to keep the discussions and the agenda in place. So if you have agenda in the meeting notes, then it will look at those, and then it will actually help you to divide time that you have. So we have 30 minutes, and then we divide it into 4 different sections. And will keep you honest in not going over that. So it will ping you in the chat going forward. So I think this is a really good way of using AI in supporting into making the meetings more efficient, but also keeping the time and helping you with summary and notes and action. So
No, that's really cool. I must admit I hadn't come across that one, and I'm sure the GTDers out there would also recognize they all know the value, of course, of showing up to a meeting with a clear agenda. So again, if this then supports everyone out there in actually preparing agendas for each of these meetings, then I'm sure this will be something they appreciate as well.
yeah, so I think try it out if you have the possibility, of course, try it out. So what you do is when you start in the meeting, you push the more 3 dots and more, and then you turn on the facilitator. It will start both recording and transcribing, and then we'll use that information to do the notes and actions, of course. So here you can see as an example. So you see the blue bar in the top. It says roadmap and product and launch campaign. So it's the time. So it start going to the right the whole time, depending how much time you have. And then you can also add. It's called facilitators. You do add facilitator, and then you said add this to the agenda. So we'll add another button, another part in that. It could also be parts of doing a summary mid journey to see the mid meeting to see have we actually handled the things that we're supposed to do. And then if you're new into the meeting, you can ask it also what's the most important things that we have talked about yet, and no words left or anything. So for example, you can do like start a timer, search the web for, or what decisions are made, and the good thing also, it will fill out this notes page that also are in the Teams meeting, and that will be actually a loop page, so you can use it to send out to people afterwards also, and you can add it before, modify it a bit before you send it out also. I think this is something that I'm using as much as possible because that will help me. So I can look into the meeting notes afterwards and see if there are anything that are actions for me or for my team in that sense.
Very cool.
So email management, a lot of things has happened, of course, in Outlook also. We're both with the new Outlook. Took some time to get used to. Now I try find a way around the quirks that from the old one. So I really like it now because it's quite fast. It helps a lot regarding as it infused with Copilot. So for example, when I go into a long email thread, I can have it to summarize it quite easily. I can also do drafts. So looking into the thread or the email I got, and to make it at the first like kind of outlined, and then of course I can modify it to reflect my tone or my questions or so, but still it gets me started in that sense. And also when I'm writing emails, I want to be sure that I have the right kind of tone, and sometimes it's when you're writing in Swedish and then you convert into English, and then of course there are different way of saying things, and of course you want to do it in a good way, so you can use the coaching. And also one thing that is going to be released very soon is something called inbox prioritization. And I know I talked to Morten about this, and of course AI is going to try to help you to to do this, and from a GTD perspective, that's perhaps not what we want to do, but I try to test it out a bit, and of course it depending on how you want to work with it, it can help you. So I have a short film here. Let's see if I can share it with audio.
Copilot and Outlook can now help you manage your inbox like never before. Introducing Prioritize My Inbox. It analyzes all your emails using both the content of your messages and the context of your job to highlight what's most important. You can then sort by priority based on Copilot's analysis. Let's look at this email from a new customer. When you select it, Copilot shows you why it thinks it's significant and highlights what action you need to take. This customer is important this quarter, so you teach Copilot that all emails mentioning them are top priority. Now Copilot knows to prioritize any email from them. Copilot is your partner, helping you manage your inbox so you don't miss what's most important.
So I think this is, and if you use it in a good way, then of course it could be very supportive in finding the things that are important for you in that moment that you are in those discussions that you have with your internally or with customers, of course. There are a lot of things more, so I placed a link here to a podcast to a video that is quite good, going through more of how to use the Copilot in email. It's about 10 minutes long, so if you want to look at it, it's a good kind of practice. So.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what they show up with, and at least for now, what I've found valuable is, sometimes those summaries and that kind of input is helpful when it comes to prioritization. I don't know what you and Morten have spoken about, but at least when Gmail introduced the categorization, for example, a number of years back, I quickly turned it off because I really want to stay on top of my email and choose how I deal with them. But I understand that some people might feel different, or some people might experience a volume of email that is just different to my volume of email, where this would actually be a great help for them. So it's cool to see the space evolving, and it looks nice.
And I have to chime in here. I'm sorry.
There he was.
No, and you know that one of my and my thinking is becoming more and more clear as there is research about the use of AI and our ability to stay smart. And unfortunately, the use of AI in studies and in work has shown that people will choose. My theory is people are like water. They will seek, if you put water on top of a hill, it will seek the least resistance route down. So if you are as a person, if somebody can make decisions for you, oh, good, now I can relax. Because we love relaxing. We are by nature really lazy, and that's why a lot of people are attracted to getting things done, myself included. I want to be lazy. I want to get the most of the right things done. But my theory, and that's at least partially supported by at least some researchers, saying that if you are allowing AI to take decisions for you, why are you here? That's one of my pet peeves. Is why should we be here? Why are humans needed if nobody should take decisions anymore? Because then that is my 2 cents on this, and I will stand by that until I feel corrected by some data that says otherwise. But what do you think, Stefan? Am I onto something?
I totally agree with you, and of course, that's why we call it co-pilot. So it's not a full pilot in doing everything for you. It's still a co-pilot. You have to take decisions. You have to.
It's a good name.
Formalize the answer to the questions in the emails in a way that you think is the right way. But of course, can you get started in something to start on? Then of course it will help you, because I usually think that starting is the most difficult part. How do I formalize the structure of the email or the presentation and thing, and just getting started, helping me to get going in a good way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. I love AI. I use it every day for understanding things and finding information, and to every now and then clean up a messy email that I just wrote that I don't have time to structure myself. So it is a big help. and being a little dyslexic, it helps me a lot to write better emails. So don't get me wrong, but calling it Copilot, it's what the pilots use when they are in, they are flying a plane and they are having a Copilot, and they can go in the back and have a coffee because the pilot will do that is where the names falls apart for me, because at the end of the day, it is the captain and not the Copilot that is responsible. And how can you, over time, trust an AI to take so good decisions on your part that you can kind of lean back and still sipping that coffee and feel comfortable that the Copilot actually makes captain decisions? Just my 2 cents for you to ponder upon, both of you. Now I'm off again. Stefan, go back to your presentation, please. I'm curious. Tell us more.
I think it's a good input, and of course, you have to be in charge or be the captain in anything, because you are the one that is sending the email or presenting the information. And then of course, but I think it's a good support in that sense. So for me, it's doing wonders in helping me my day. So you have to choose yourself. What is the level of support you need from Copilot or AI assistant as such also, and use it wisely. So.
Okay.
Good. So
Copilot and Outlook.
not again. So from a PowerPoint perspective, I don't know about you, but I'm also working a lot with PowerPoints nowadays, and either creating new ones or changing or updating, and so what I usually do is I have the possibility to have this one called New, and then you have this box called Create with Copilot. So what it actually do is that you tell Copilot, so I want to create a presentation. In this case, I said how Microsoft product infused with AI can support productivity in the workday in GTD framework. Then you can also change design or style, anything, and then you press enter, and it will give you an outcast of a draft where you can both do changes, you can reorder the structure if you want to. You can tell it a bit more in detail what you need, and then you generate the slides, and then you can go into the slides and use it to each of the text bullets to auto rewrite. So like, for example, add more of this kind of information or condense it to make it more professional. So it helps you in the context of what is the aim or goal for the person to do, to find the right kind of wordings into the PowerPoint. So I'm using it quite a lot in various ways. So I think that's also something to get started and help you to be more precise in that sense. And then of course, in every work, you get a lot of information. You create things, you get emails, chats, and everything, and it's a bit messy to find. So I try different kind of ways to find things, but the one that I goes back to every day is something called OneDrive. So OneDrive is where you have usually all of your information gathered, and it will help you to find things that are both created by you but also shared to you. So if you go into a M65 page, then you choose OneDrive, and then you have a full view of everything that you have created in different kind of variants, either like a Word, Excel, PowerPoint. It could be things that are shared to you. You can show your own file. You can filter on what's shared by you or shared from you. You can tag favorites. One thing that I usually use a lot is via people. So I know that I got something from my colleague, and then I can choose him, and I can see everything that we have discussed or from a document perspective we worked on. Also from meetings. So I know they had a meeting last week that was about something, and then of course I can search the meeting and see, okay, were there any attachments into that meeting? So it's gathering all the information data in one place to filter upon, and I think that saves me a lot of time, because as a lot of information flying back and forth in the environment, of course. So and of course in the search field you have Copilot to support you also to find things. So it's a quite good tip, I would say, for everyone that is using Microsoft ecosystem today.
And I'm sure people will appreciate that, because that's been, I think, a common topic for more advanced GTDers for many years, that, as we see the number of tools evolving, where can you place information? Where do you then go back to find it again? Was it an email? Was it a chat message? Was it some document I saved? It's great if you can sort of put all those things together and you don't have to go searching in too many places. So I'm sure that'll be a helpful tip for people in the Microsoft environment.
And of course, there are meetings that I can't attend, but I want to follow and get information. There are, of course, meetings that I still have attended, but there are things and actions that I need to attend. So I used Copilot to find those kind of information via prompts. So very easily, I said, show me all emails, Teams chats, meeting notes, documents that I've been attached to or pointed to during my last 24 hours. Or you can even add more things into that also. But there are really good things that are already there in what's called prompt gallery. So when you go, you see here is the Microsoft Copilot chat, the search window. And then you have in the bottom right, you have something called See More. And then you can choose Prompt Gallery. So Prompt Gallery, and this is not only here, it's in every prompt that you have in Excel or Word or everything. You usually have in the bottom right corner where you can see more. Then you can get in prompts that are specific for that kind of application or that where you are right now. So here we have a lot of predefined prompts that you can use. So I've used what I usually do is I try out one that are predefined, and then I add things to it to change it, and then when I'm done, then I can save it. So I can save my prompts, and then you find all the prompts under your prompts here also. So I can go back to them continuously when I want to find information in that specific context. And next step is, of course, also that you can schedule the prompts. So if they like, for example, I have one prompt that says, okay, summarize all the information, the meetings I've attended and chat and thing, and make a list of actions that I've been pointed to. And then I will get to the matrix, and I can put it into my want-to-do list. Also links where I can find information, then all backgrounds also. So it helps me to get a lot of control in that sense also.
Yeah, no, that sounds really helpful, and something I'm playing with as well in the environments that we use. How is it right now with the ability to, because you can write to it and get that feedback? If it were a real assistant in my head, at least, we would be able to maybe talk back and forth, and it would still also be able to present information. Now, are we there yet, or is it still just text or just talk, or can we sort of mix it, saying, okay, can you, if it would get for me at least, so I'm running from meeting to meeting, now I have 15 minutes before my lunch break, let me just get an overview. So I would sit down, hit a button. So what happened while I was away, and it would, explain some things and perhaps summarize some things on screen. Are we there yet? Are we far away? What's your feeling?
I think so, and both from a product perspective. So we have, as I have on my iPhone, I have an app called Copilot, private one that I'm logging in for myself, and then of course I have Copilot for work. And there you have the possibility to talk to it. You can also do it by the computer also. But there we can have a discussion, and I can ask the same kind of questions or prompts that I'm using, and it was give me vocally the things that I need to understand for or the information I need for the next meeting or the next steps or anything. So become much better, and I'm actually using it a lot regarding like when I'm out walking, and then I have information or thoughts that it can actually add to my OneNote or those also. So I think try it out and see if you can find the right kind of information that you needed, but it's getting better and better.
Very cool.
So the working day is over. I've done a lot of things, and of course to wrap everything up and don't have any loose ends, and not also to really relax. I do the end day routine, so it's the same kind of questions, a bit different depending on as it my end days to more to summarize and to see that I have put things into my system in the right way, and also of course cleaned up my inbox a bit, and so there's nothing laying there. That's very, very important. And also of course looking into the next day for what's happening is something that I really want, I do have to look into and prepare for the next day. So using this kind of tooling and Copilot has really helped me to be more efficient in sense, but also keeping me in a good place from a GTD system, also to really have it updated and be in control. So I hope it gives you some inspiration and how you can do it, and also to some tips and tricks in that sense.
Very cool, Stefan. Thank you so much for sharing. It's it's a great walkthrough. It's and especially that end of day checklist. It's something that I've thought of, looked at many times. So in theory, I really like the idea to sort of have a wrap up end of the day kind of approach. I know people that have a checklist or do journaling or other ways to disconnect. So I really like that. Thank you so much for taking the time to walk us through this. I hope this was really helpful for people out there. I'm sure it was. At least it was for me. On screen, you have a couple of last bits of information.
Yeah. So if you look at Copilot or AI in any way, so of course it's easy to get started, but there is a threshold from a knowledge perspective to get the most of it. So my own journey in that sense from a knowledge perspective, of course, I'm using a lot of test prompts, text examples, either things that I've run into from YouTube or internally, and I try them out and I change and modify them and train, and so you learn to get better going forward, and when you get better, then of course you get better prompts and better answers. So don't give up. Try to try it out and continues to learn, and then you will find better information or better answers going forward also. And there are a lot of information. We have something called Microsoft Learn that are for free. So you just create an account and you can go courses, you find your examples, there are videos and stuff like that. And of course, YouTube. There are a lot of YouTubers that are following Microsoft and what we are doing, and really showing in a day-to-day situation how you're using things. So I follow a lot of different channels there. And also using Copilot. So ask Copilot that I've done also, okay, I want to do this, help me to build a prompt, or help me to find information, and try to use it in as a learning also. So that was just my last kind of inputs.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Stefan. Thank you again for taking the time to give this overview. I hope people will comment and let us know how they try some of these things out, or if they have any other tips. We're happy to take them, and we will share them in a future episode. Thank you so much, Stefan. It's been very interesting. I'm sure valuable for a lot of GTDers out there. I hope we can invite you back in the future once again when there's even more GTD out there to learn more on how to do that in the Microsoft environment.
And as you are running quite quickly, there are things happening, I would say, every day or every week. so continuous involvement. But yeah. Thank you very much.
Well, yeah, thank
so
you,
much,
Stefan, for me too. Thank you for your insights, and thank you for showing off how you use GTD with AI, or AI with GTD. I don't know which comes first, but we'll see. Okay, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. And we are back, Lars, and I think this was a very good interview. I do find it interesting how closely you can, as you know, now time progresses, you can use AI in assisting you in your everyday work. Anything that stood out for you specifically?
Yeah, no, just the overall seeing how things progress towards you having the AI much closer to your data and the information that is relevant for you to actually do your job, not just the really cool AI things that we've seen over the last 12 months, maybe 2 years, where it's a really fancy Google and it can do much more and compile things. But now that it's actually starting to work with your data and actually being, from my perspective, much more helpful in your day-to-day work. I think that's the stuff that is starting to be really interesting. So great to see how Stefan uses it. I like the approach, how he showcased a day in his life and how he walked through that, and hopefully that was helpful for people out there.
Yeah. My only gripe with the AI asset is today you really need to trust the vendor of your AI. So if you feed it all the information you have, then it has all the information you have, which can be can be good, and it can be a little scary. I don't know what you think, Lars. Do you?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's good that they are really focusing on that, obviously.
Yes.
And I hope most of the big ones will probably follow along as well, so we can have this trust, because otherwise then we really then we have a big problem, I think.
We will a data breach into one of the depositories of this would be really detrimental, both for the trust in AI and the general trust in in the company that has this breach. So I'm sure they do a lot of things to try to stop this from happening. But yeah. It's like taking off your riding motorcycle without a helmet for me. A little feels a little scary. Okay, so but something that AI can't help us with is think about, at least for now, it can maybe help you with being creative around things, but to work with your horizons of focus. And that is why Lars and I have created something called the GTD Master Class Retreat. And the GTD Master Class Retreat is going to be 2 times in 2026, one in February, one in September, and it is a couple of days together with Lars, David Allen, Catherine Allen, and me, where we will coach you and guide you in group sessions and one-on-one coachings to get your horizons of focus sorted out, which means that you can expect to have more clarity on your life purpose, your values, and your principles, and creating vision for you, how you want to live your life. And also you might end up with a couple of affirmations that will help you, guide you in your way to get there. And we have created a little what we call a video segment that I would like to share with you now. And in this video segment, one of the participants, Sebastian from Germany, who was part of the first GTD Masterclass retreat, he tells you why you should consider attending as well. So, Sebastian, the floor is yours.
Hi, I'm Sebastian, a GTD practitioner from Germany. Participating in the GTD Masterclass retreat was arguably the best decision I made in this year. I traveled to Denmark without super high expectations, but the hope to get some headspace to sort out my horizons and get grounded and more oriented. But what I experienced over the next 3 days was a thoughtfully curated and wonderfully organized program with a lot of space for personal time, as well as good group sessions and one-on-ones with Lars, Morten and David, all 3 of them being fully dedicated every minute of the program. I very much enjoyed a stunning and breathtaking location, and with an amazing small group of GTD practitioners, it was a breeze to work with. All of them were eager to share, grow and learn. GTD can be life-changing, and the retreat can get you back on course. I am blessed to have participated, and I'm profiting from the takeaways of the retreat every day. I'm looking forward to returning as soon as I can. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity for everyone who is listening to this, quite frankly.
Thank you, Sebastian, and thank you for endorsing the masterclass retreat. So now you know what to do. If you listen to this and feel compelled, please feel free to go to the link in the show notes. It's in YouTube, and also in the audio version of this you will find a link to the masterclass retreat application page where you can apply to attend one of them. And that is really cool. Black car service, exclusive hotel, exclusive surroundings. It's really something else. So and we have also something else, Lars. We have the GTD summer camp. Maybe you would like to.
We have some different offerings. Yeah, exactly. So different ways to hang out with the other GTDers, be inspired, all that good stuff is, of course, the GTD summer camp. So we're doing that for the 6th year now in 2026. GTDsummercamp.com is the place to go to find the information available at this time. We are building the program. It's a non-profit event, so we do this as cheap as we possibly can as we sit down and plan this with the organizing group. So we hope to see you there. People from all over the world show up. It's a lot of fun, really inspirational. Topics vary from year to year. In 2025, we have had a lot of community presentations where people showed up and did, presented how they use their Stream Deck, or how they, were inspired in other ways, and how they use their GTD system and refine their practice. So hope to see many of you there as well. GTDsummercamp.com is the place to go. June 13 to 14 should be the date. So as of this recording, it's not finalized yet, but most likely that will be the weekend, as it has been in previous years. So hope to see you there in June.
Yeah, and me too. And both Lars and I love hanging out with GTDers and bring value. We both have the deep-seated value that getting things done is a skill that can change your life to the better, and we love giving that to people. So come and hang out with us either on the masterclass retreat or in the summer camp. So welcome. And
or
now,
in the training, because we have trainings as well.
So. We have trainings, we have courses, we have also
Vitallearning.eu. Find links to Norway, Denmark, Finland, Sweden, Estonia, all of the good countries that are part of the Nordics Plus. So you can find more information about there, how they do the GTD trainings, public trainings, company trainings, trainer certifications, coachings, all that good stuff. Vitallearning.eu. And if you are not in any other countries that I just mentioned, you can go to cruciallearning.com to find your local partners.
And you can go to gtdfocus.com if you are part in the US and Canada for coaching in getting things done. So, okay, Lars, we are at the end, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope this was valuable to everyone. And as always, podcast at vitallearning.dk if you want to reach out to Morten and I. If you have some cool ideas, if you have some questions, be sure to let us know. We love to hear from you.
Yeah, and if you have some ideas for what we would talk about, you have some challenges, reach out to podcast at vitallearning.dk. Okay, then I will say, as I always do, and I'll always continue until we stop this podcast, and maybe after I will still continue saying this, but stay safe and stay productive. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.